If you're tired of all these big retirement fifth wheel RVs always looking the same, maybe take a look at this one. It might be just different enough to catch your interest. Welcome everybody, Josh RV Nerd of Bish's RV down here at the Alliance Rally at the county famous Elkhart County Fairgrounds here in Indiana. Interestingly, actually the first rally I've ever been able to attend. I've been invited to many. First time I've ever been able to actually come out here and enjoy the culture. I get it. This is actually very fun, but that's not what this is about today. Today we're looking at some update footage here on this 340 Paradigm. I've never been able to exactly put my finger on it. There's something about this RV that's just different enough that it kind of draws me in and captivates me. When I first got into this industry, a lot of long-term use extended stay fifth wheels had the driver's side hallway style like upper deck access, and it makes it feel for some reason a little bit more like a house to me, and it just feels a little more privatized in the upper deck, just very secluded. It has advantages, it has drawbacks. The road mode on this kind of setup sometimes can be a little bit difficult. Frankly, I don't remember what it's like on this one, but if you hang with me, we'll find out. All your Paradigms are 6-point hydraulic leveling, 8-foot 5-inch wide body, standard triple air, new 400-watt solar package with optional 1,200-watt package, which comes with big inverters and lithium battery and all kinds of things. Available with gen prep or full generator install. Paint packages also available. Slide awnings being another thing you can get, which we're actually getting a look at here today. Amazingly, what we're looking at here is just the standard exterior look of a Paradigm. It's one of the first RVs where, I mean, the paint packages look great, but I feel I am almost equally as impressed with just the base look of this thing without the expensive paint package. But the paint packages do look very good long term, although they do spend a little bit more up front. But things like that, telling you what's available, the positives and the negatives. We're going to look at all the storage. We're going to close the sides. We're going to do all the things. If you're serious about getting a big rig like this, I want to be able to give you all the information I possibly can. And if you appreciate that, hit that subscribe button. Let's get going.
There's just always something very interesting and different to me about these, driver's side hallway models. When I first kind of got into this business, this is what big fifth wheels looked like. And if my voice suddenly sounds very, very different right now, it's because after the whole dunk tank festivities, it became dinner time, and then it got a little bit too late to come back and record this stuff. So I actually came back the next day, but that's after I spent an entire night yelling at people and heckling them from the position of the dunk tank above the freezing water. So my voice is like Tony the Pony. It's a little hoarse. Let's actually start from the top down and work our way around, because we have a lot to cover and I'm still waking up. Standard triple air conditioner on Paradigms, and you might notice in the living room you have two non-ducted air conditioners. That provides maximum efficiency and the most cooling power into the biggest room with the most cubic foot of space that needs to be cooled. It's weird, it's different, it's starting to catch on though. More and more manufacturers are adopting systems like this. When Alliance first did it, everybody laughed at them. I was among them. I didn't understand it. Then when I learned it, I appreciated it. In the upper deck, you have one air conditioner that is mini centralized between the bedroom and the bathroom. And the fact is, this system works. This system works well. I've been here at this rally asking people questions about their RVs, and the air conditioning system is one of the things that they claim being very happy about as compared to many of the other RVs that they had owned in the past. It's pretty. The above the sofa, there's that central area with that little backlit panel between the storage. It's pretty. I don't know that it's functional. It's never been my favorite thing, but it doesn't seem to be bothering people, so they haven't really changed it around. I will say, the Alliance ownership, the presidents, vice presidents are floating around this rally, just knocking on doors, asking people questions, how they feel about their RVs, what they could do better. I think it's just very cool. All solid surface countertops through our kitchen living space here. I also appreciate the radius corners on that because I'm a clumsy oaf and I'll bump myself. They were one of the very first to adopt the opposing dual floor flush slides instead of having a kitchen toe stubber. And from day one, they've basically had no floor vents on the main level, and they always work to try to have no floor vents, period. but some floor plans do require a floor vent or two in the upper deck. It just kind of depends. Working our way around right here, I'm going to actually go plop myself down at the theater seat for you because this big smart TV, I think, is on what I call boardwalk and park place positioning. It's straight across from the theater seat, and it's not mounted up too high. I am the camera's actually slightly below my eye level by about 4 or 5 inches right now, so it's a very comfortable viewing angle on this. And depending on what you want to do, that the way that this TV is mounted, there's some serious storage behind it, and the TV can pivot around. But even if it doesn't, because the TV is essentially surface mounted, even if you have a guest, this viewing positioning, I don't think is necessarily terrible by any means. Working our way around here, they've done, I think, a decent job of trying to make outlets fairly reasonable, accessible. There are a number of outlets that are under overhead cabinets, though. I'll kind of point those out as we go. Ooh, I like that little, what's that called? Sputnik style light? Is that what that's called? I'm not great on my home and garden television terms. I think that's called a Sputnik light, and I think it's called that because I'm pretty sure we have one above my kitchen table at my house, and I think my wife used that word. The kitchen, I think, also has some really, like, if you're going to spend a long time in an RV, this has a kitchen that you can actually use and enjoy. I like the inward focused symmetry of this, the way that those cabinets are angled in just slightly, how you have equal space on both sides of that stove. We do have, on the left side and right side, both, we have some power outlets under those overhead cabinets. I'd like them down a little bit, but we can't always get what we want. It's almost like somebody should write a song about that. And you see an actual big 4-burner stovetop, and it's large enough. You typically can get 4 pots, pans on there. Now they're going to need to be a little bit smaller. If you have 4 gigantic, like my grandmother cooking for a giant family size pots and pans, not going to cut the mustard. The oven there also being a little bit larger, as is the refrigerator. It's about I believe 20 cubic foot, something on that magnitude, 12-volt compressor fridge. Alliance was really one of the very first, like, higher end manufacturers to adopt larger 12-volt refrigerators. And before I forget, couple things. You do have, if you want to remove those drawers, there actually is dishwasher prep built into this island. And the fact that the island is asymmetrical, I like it. A lot of manufacturers will put the sink in the middle of the island because it looks very aesthetically pleasing, but it really limits the amount of, like, functional drawer space you can have, and it breaks up prep space pretty painfully. So whenever a manufacturer does that, I think that's a function over fashion kind of decision right there. Now, obviously, if what you're looking for is campside window coverage, baby, we found it. There's just, this is loaded up right here. You may have noticed how the windows also have dual section day and night shades. So if you are, depending on what you're looking for in terms of privacy or light, or if you got a migraine, or if it's just screaming hot outside and you need to flat blot out the sun like the arrows of the Persian army, you and King Leonidas both can enjoy that. One of the things that I really like, they started adopting this right here last year, is what I think I'm going to call the turn and burn dining desk, because the table just turns, and turn and burn sounds good. The burn has nothing to do with it specifically. But considering this is primarily a couples coach, I have seen so many people actually take a freestanding table and chairs in an RV from the manufacturer, unscrew it from the floor, rotate it 90 degrees, and do exactly this. The other thing, though, is these chairs are free floating, and it's a no knee knocker dinette, and that can leave some pretty handy benefits, because some people just don't care about a dining arrangement. Some people would really like to have something in the, like a space for a dog or something like that. That can be a very nice kennel and or dog bed and or like dog dish space right there. But it also has that little ottoman footrest storage box right there, which you could use for extra seating as desired. So it's a very flexible, functional. It's a real MFer. It's a multifunctional seater. Get your minds out of the gutter. Working our way around here. This actually is power theater recliner. It does have some USB plugs in that thigh buster location on the inside edge of the arm. Not my favorite location for that, but you notice that it's either population controlling or cuddle compliant, a little bit of whatever you would like. Now, it's easy to miss. Keep an eye on these side stands as I open this sofa. You notice that how those also have just a little bucket of storage to them as well. That's a little practice I call not an ounce of space gone to waste. Now, you'll probably have to stand on the couch to get to these upper cabinets, but at least it's not wasted area. I also really appreciate the crown molding, the accent lighting all the way up here. That can that creates a really cool what I call stealth mode camping arrangement where if you're camping at night, it can create just some comfortable soft lighting to navigate the RV, or act as like a nightlight in case you got, like, I don't know, a grandkid. I like the spice racks, or I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But the way that, a lot of manufacturers, when you have these big swing open pantries, these have become very common, very popular. Usually the backside of the TV area is wasted. Alliance, again, being very good about finding every little nook and cranny. I like that fusion lighting. That's that single lightsaber glow beam lighting. The space on the right, the tall pocket, is kind of designed to be like storage for things like if you want to get a, what do I want to say, stick vac or something like that. Creates a spot for it. Now, I suppose if you're intensely nearsighted, you could spin the TV around to face right on top of you. But the good news, that won't really be necessary due to the fact that, again, that TV can pivot around depending on what you want to do. So if you want to kick back on the sofa, leaves you plenty of room to do it. Again, all the little cool nooks and crannies, pockets they can. So whether it's extra charger cords or remote control storage when you're traveling or something, just I love the little details, the little thoughts that they put into stuff, because all that stuff, it's a little extra time, it's a little extra money, but it's also just little daily convenience factors when you're in the RV, and that's what makes the difference. When you're in an RV that you just use sometimes versus an RV that you use all the time, it's the details that really make the difference. Like the segmented little silverware, flatware drawer in a drawer on the left side over there. And you might notice that little sign that says reinforced drawers. First of all, they're a pretty thick plywood box construction. Secondly, on the bottom side of the drawer, they'll add a little bit of extra reinforcement. And what's kind of cool about that was actually something that was thought of just by one of the folks on the general labor line at Alliance. They went, we have this extra scrap wood. We could actually secure that to the bottom of the drawer and affix it in a way that would give it a little more robust holding capacity, and it would cost us essentially $0 extra. The people working at Alliance are very proud of what they do and very invested in the product and the success of the company, and it shows because they're not there typically just to have a 9-to-5 job. Like, they're really there working. Now, the bottom right cabinet over here, this is all adjustable, removable shelvings. This is an intensely flex function space, but you've also got a hanging rod up there. So if you want that to be a coat closet right by the door, perfect. And Alliance has never gone into these smart systems. They've just stayed with tried and true switches, and it's really funny how many manufacturers are actually moving back to that stuff. You might notice that the storage at the top, though, is not quite as deep. That's because that's actually kind of like the back side of the bathroom linen cabinet. So it's not lost storage. They just use a little bit of it over here on this side, and then a little bit more of it over on the, what do I want to say? The bathroom side of it. Again, the caffeine, not yet hitting, folks. Now, down here under the sink, the left side is basically wide open. They didn't try to throw a shelf or anything in there because you actually have some plumbing that hangs down, because they do rock an asymmetrical sink drain. Of course, I would naturally put the sink drying rack cover back of the way. You notice how the drain's over onto one side, so that if you want to put like a wash basin on one side and then rinse on the other, you can kind of create your own 2-basin sink in just one giant farm sink. Now, all this is some serious drawer space right here. But again, if you feel like removing them, it is actually dishwasher prepped under there. So you can kind of customize that space a little bit. And again, like this living room, the opposing super slide living room, it's not like this is a complete reinvention of everything, but flip-flopping the upper deck and putting the hallway over on this side, it just has a very cool private feel because when you walk in the door, you don't turn your head and immediately look directly into someone's bedroom. It has to be done with a little more intent, and as a result, it feels a lot more privatized. Although there's this creepy bald weirdo down there that just keeps staring at me with his creepy eyes, just creepy. Up here in the bathroom, this design also creates an opportunity for a huge bathroom. Like let's start with toilet space. First of all, it's as fluffy friendly as they really possibly come. But when I get out of the way on that footage, if you look really closely, it's not an optical illusion. The shower floor is actually recessed slightly below the main floor level. And I don't know how well it even translated to this footage, but if you notice over on the right side, first I begin standing right under that big XL Max Air vent fan. Then I step down slightly into the shower. I'm a little over 6 foot wearing some thick soled shoes right now. You notice that I had plenty of headroom in there. And just in case you didn't catch that, yes, they do just factory standard come with the bigger vent fan that I think a lot of people would prefer to have anyway. Now, there's been a couple times I've seen manufacturers do these larger bathrooms like this, and sometimes they'll try to like jam 2 sinks in a place just because it looks flashy and fancy. But if you try to do 2 sinks, aka a dual lavatory, then it wouldn't you'd have to sit on the toilet to use one of the sinks. Now, this is some of that split storage I talked about. So starting on the left-hand side there, you see how it's not intensely deep, but that also means you don't have to reach in there all the way up to your armpit to kind of reach stuff. And they left you a nice spot for a handy little, wastebasket directly under the sink. That's a really useful thing that a lot of manufacturers just never consider, Plus, that's like a massive shower. There's a lot of manufacturers that were doing these big showers and then they kind of quit, and Alliance seems to be one of the few that has really maintained it. Now, the trick with this design, it creates a very fun, very private bedroom area. But if you notice, the bedroom slide actually does come out here into the hallway a little bit, and the orientation of this bedroom makes it very difficult for me, I think, to give you really nice camera footage. And I don't like to use the crazy fisheye wide angle lensing or anything. So you're going to have to bear with me a little bit here. So as we walk in, we're going to actually just begin by like me climbing on bed, keeping my shoes off the bed because I have no shoes on the furniture policy. If you lay down, this is your view right here. That's another smart TV, by the way, and it's downward angled just a little bit so it's not constantly neck cranking. But if you want some airflow, or if you hear a crazy bump in the night, you got yourself a pretty solid window space here to check all that out. And then, a lot of manufacturers have the big dresser. I think that this is a bigger dresser than some manufacturers have, but Alliance includes that extra little bench right there. Having a place to just sit down and put on shoes, just silly stuff like that is really, really useful. Now, I left that one cabinet door open over there in the corner unintentionally, but you can, I'm sure, pretty much estimate that is your washer dryer kind of prep space in there. The front closet, I feel like there's supposed to be some kind of lights in here. Hold on. Maybe not. Are they motions? Hold on. It's going to flash on you guys. Close your eyes if you're light sensitive. 1, 2, 3. There you go. I'm going to make a pass back through and open all this up. Firstly, I just kind of want to show you around a little bit. The upper deck slide is a Norco Exact slide system. That is a cable slide system. There's AccuSlide and Exact slide. Exact slide that we're looking at here seems to be the one turning in slightly better service records. One of the other potential benefits of it is that typically it will allow you to use the slide while the bed is in the retracted travel position. Now, the problem is, again, like I said, there's just no easy way for me to try to showcase this whole bed, so I have to do something I do not like doing. I have to bump you into the realm of wide angle lens mode. And I hate doing this because I don't think it represents the RV correctly and fairly, because that the mattress is not shaped like a piece of candy corn. But that's the trick with this design. It's very not camera friendly, but it's very user friendly. That's the trick of it. Now back into the realm of human eyes and not compound fly eyes over here. This is just a big bank of extra storage, and apologies, I got to get the camera kind of right up in this thing's face. You might notice that black switch right there next to the USB charging station. That's a bedroom dimmer switch, so you can lay right in bed, turn the ceiling lights off and on. The little side pockets over here, they just had a little extra space, you know. This bedroom we're looking at today, by the way, is the king bed, but if you prefer a queen, you can put one in here, but most of the Paradigms you're going to find actually at dealerships are probably already going to have kings put in them. In case you were curious, yes, these actually are drawers down here, as are those right there. And if you notice, even inside that closet, they're still rocking solid surface countertop material. They never drop down to like thermal foil anywhere. Now, there was also a laundry hamper kind of built in. You can see that tall vertical door right there. But without close, it seems to want to constantly flip itself shut. So I'm having difficulty giving you a good look in there, but at least they have considered the fact that when you're done wearing yesterday's clothes, you actually have a place to put them, which a lot of manufacturers don't seem to understand. Now, the trick with this design is, despite the fact that this slide would normally allow you to use the bed while retracted, it pretty much prevents you from getting into the upper deck because of the extended upper deck storage closet space right there. However, you can, at a travel stop, still get to the bathroom. You can also get down to the kitchen level. I'll get you down there in just a second. I just noticed up here in the bathroom, apparently you can rock out with your little JBL speaker system that they have included in this. That's something that I've kind of similarly started doing even in just my home life. I threw a Bluetooth speaker in my bathroom. I just listen to some music, get a little bit of audio therapy, you know, while washing the work day away kind of situation. I found it actually to be oddly therapeutic. I would 5-star highly recommend something like that. So this one, you can stop, you can get to enough of the fridge, you can get to the bathroom, but she's definitely a destination use model. Not really made for getting there in terms of functioning on the way, although when we start talking about the towing and suspension aspects of this, I think you'll see that they also thought about the getting there part of it.
Now, if we talk towing, I can walk over the side of the sticker on the sticker on the side of the RV, pardon me, and I can see the GVW, I can see the empty weight, I can see the cargo weight. This thing will always keep a little over 2,000 pounds of available cargo capacity. For an RV of this size and in possible usage, I do think that's minimally acceptable. I wouldn't be offended to see a little bit more, but there we are. The problem is manufacturers never seem to list the actual hitch weight of this RV. Even though many of them do measure it, almost no manufacturer I've ever seen will just publish the hitch weight of this RV on anything that you can see on this sticker. You have to like call with your VIN number to actually get this one's hitch weight. So what I don't know is if this is 1-ton single rear wheel or dual. And frankly, just eyeballing the size and the weight, if you're going to be doing any kind of distance towing, I don't think you're going to regret having a dually. Personally, I am right on the borderline of sneezing. I've been doing that a lot lately here. Hey, Ab, how you doing, buddy? Sorry, some folks that I know here. Anyway, they have recently upgraded the... Sorry about that. Ended up breaking down in a sneezing fit regardless. But they've recently, I think it was last year, updated the pin box and the suspension package. And essentially, I don't remember which one's which. One of them transfers 30% less violence and stress into the associated frame space. The other transfers 50% less towing stress into the associated frame space. And it's kind of been something I believe for a long time, looking at service records on different RVs, different brands, different products. If you want an RV that stays out of the shop, look for something that already has a better suspension. It just doesn't get rattled as hard. Now, this has a redonkulously large basement. This is not wide-angle view here. You'd fit, like 14, 15 bodies in here. I don't know. But It's because it has that very long extended upper deck. It gives them more room. Plus it's a drop frame. Plus you've got the gas grill cooker hooker right down below that. Plus we have the gas strut easy lift stable steps, making coming and going simple with that new safety rail entry grab handle. The front awning, you might have noticed, is also extremely large on this. Now your rear super slide, that's a pretty conventional, I think roughly like 10-12 foot awning, something like that right there. But your front awning, obviously much larger as well. Wrapping our way around the back here, you do have a 3,000 pound towing receiver hitch, although this is long enough, depending on the size truck you have. Your total length might run into some state towing length restrictions, so always make sure you do a little bit of investigating on that to stay within the local guidelines, because nobody wants to take a traffic stop from Johnny Law necessarily. Now these are all 0 to 100 degree rated, tested, proven. Again, factory standard triple air, 400 watt solar package up on the roof. They also have their super solar package. There's a lot of components that go into it, but the key things that I think you can take away from, you go from 400 to 1200 watts of solar, 1.2 kilowatts of solar. In marketing terms. You also gain a 3,000 watt whole house pure sine inverter, so you can run outlets, some of the air conditioning. You also gain, oh, I'm sorry, sir, I'm getting right in your way over here. We got folks zipping around in e-bikes and scooters and golf carts and every other thing, and here I am making videos, going to get myself run over. But, what was I getting at? Oh, 400 amp hour Renogy lithium battery also included on that super solar package. You might note that's a single sewer outlet, which is great. Cooper H rated tires down here, some excellent sneakers on this kid, and that new touring coil suspension package. The base suspension on a Paradigm being pretty awesome. They also offer an optional MORryde independent suspension package. And Lord, she's spendy. She's several thousands of dollars. And you talk to anyone who has ever towed an RV on that package, and they almost always say the same thing. They don't ever want to tow anything else on any other suspension again if they can possibly help it, because it's that big of a difference. A little bit unrelated to the RV that we're looking at today, but down here at the rally, they actually invited me to join in on their little dunk tank action they have. But this is all part of the Alliance charity. And all I'll tell you is that water straight out of a garden hose into those things is awful darn cold, and I am glad to be dried off. Although if you are going to get dropped in a dunk tank, you have to, of course, sport the official RV Nerd underwear. There's just no other way. Now, there's plenty of other big triple slide, couples camping, retirement grade kind of fifth wheels out there, but this one has always somehow just been unique enough to define itself for me. I don't know that there's another one exactly like this to recommend, but if you like this, but you're like, it's a little big and a little heavy, a little expensive for me, I've got video footage of like the 295 Paradigm. There's also the 370 if you want a big front bath and a half, and this is kind of that interesting in-betweener right here. So if you want to see where we have one of these parked, what we're asking on one of them, check the links in the description to hop over to our website where we'll have all that published for you. Alternatively, if you would like to see something a little bigger, a little smaller, something else maybe somewhat parallel to this, I'll try to dig up a few other videos that I've done on other things for you to take a look at, whether it's a Paradigm or who knows what. So thanks again for tuning in, everybody. Appreciate you hanging out. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.